Before dawn, armored vehicles secure the perimeter. A tactical team stacks up, and with a single violent breach, federal agents flood the target building. This chart shows the financial engine behind that kind of domestic operation. Today, the FBI employs over 38,000 people, fueled by an annual budget that exceeds $9.7 billion. Yet in 1908, the Justice Department had to borrow 34 Secret Service personnel just to form a nameless squad. They carried no badges, issued no firearms, and held no legal authority to make arrests. Local police regularly mocked them, and Congress aggressively restricted their funding. The evolution from a handful of powerless bureaucrats into a massive intelligence apparatus required a specific external pressure. For the first 3 years of World War I, the United States watched the European trenches from a distance. 2 oceans provided a comfortable geographic buffer against the fighting. That safety shattered in July 1916. Under the cover of darkness, a network of German saboteurs smuggled time bombs onto Black Tom Island in New York Harbor. The blast detonated 2,000 tons of explosives, sending shockwaves as far as Philadelphia. The physical devastation immediately generated a national panic. President Woodrow Wilson authorized emergency war powers, instructing the Justice Department to bypass standard trials and detain any alien deemed dangerous. To manage this sudden influx of authority, the department hired a 22-year-old law clerk named John Edgar Hoover. He stepped into a government actively expanding its reach for the first time. The sabotage in New York Harbor set a precedent that would recur throughout the century. Faced with a visible foreign threat on home soil, the federal government prioritized the security of a centralized state over existing legal constraints. By 1924, Hoover was confirmed as the permanent director of the Bureau. He immediately dismissed agents caught drinking or taking bribes, mandating that all new recruits hold degrees in law or accountancy. State and local authorities were simultaneously failing to manage the Prohibition era. Well-funded bootlegging syndicates routinely outgunned and compromised city police departments. Hoover used this local failure to justify federal consolidation. In 1932, he opened the Scientific Crime Detection Laboratory and aggressively pushed to link local precincts into a massive, centralized fingerprinting base. He also recognized the need to manage public perception. Hoover struck deals with Hollywood executives to stop portraying gangsters as romantic anti-heroes, ensuring studios produced films where clean-cut federal agents always won. The newly renamed Federal Bureau of Investigation emerged as a heroic, disciplined institution. This meticulously engineered brand shielded Hoover from conventional political oversight. After the deceit the Axis powers, the geopolitical landscape fractured. The Soviet Union acquired nuclear weapons, and the Bureau's primary objective pivoted heavily toward domestic counterintelligence. This chart shows the structure of a classified operation initiated in the 1950s, called COINTELPRO. It was designed specifically to surveil, infiltrate, and disrupt organizations operating entirely inside the United States. The operation rapidly expanded beyond foreign espionage. The FBI began applying counterintelligence tactics to labor unions, campus protesters, and the civil rights movement, treating domestic organizers as active national security threats. Agents gathered private material and sent anonymous threats to prominent activists. In 1964, the Bureau mailed a package containing surveillance audio and a letter suggesting Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. commit suicide. Decades of accumulated power, operating in secret, had produced an insular agency. The forces built to track organized crime and foreign spies were now actively directing their vast resources against the American public. Hoover directed the Bureau for 48 years, surviving 8 presidencies. Following his death in 1972, investigations exposed the extent of his surveillance network, prompting Congress to legally restrict all future directors to a single 10-year term. As the Cold War concluded, the agency reassigned hundreds of agents away from foreign intelligence. They built specialized tactical units and refocused their massive budget on tracking violent fugitives across state lines. On September 11, 2001, the system failed. The nation's decentralized intelligence networks held fragmented warnings about the hijackers, but failed to connect the data before the planes hit their targets. The Attorney General responded by issuing a direct mandate that reclassified the Bureau. Its primary resources shifted away from investigating crimes after the fact to the proactive gathering of counterterrorism intelligence. Legislation passed in the wake of the attacks formalized this dual identity. The director now briefs the Director of National Intelligence, fusing the Bureau's domestic police work with the requirements of a global security apparatus. Today, that dual mandate is managed through a massive centralized command structure operating out of Washington, D.C. The organizational chart is divided into highly specialized silos. The National Security Branch tracks foreign spies, the Cyber Division monitors transnational hacking syndicates, and a dedicated directorate investigates weapons of mass destruction. An agent in any of the 56 field offices operates with deep legal authority. The modern Bureau maintains active jurisdiction over violations spanning more than 200 distinct categories of federal law. It is a sweeping, highly resourced apparatus that touches international ports, corporate servers, and local city streets simultaneously. Despite deep structural reforms, managing an institution with this level of concentrated authority consistently generates friction. In the 1990s, botched tactical raids resulted in fatal, high-profile standoffs. At Waco, a 51-day siege ended when a fire consumed the compound, killing 76 people and severely fracturing public trust. More recently, the agency has faced severe scrutiny for critical intelligence blind spots. Failure to act on early warnings of domestic extremism allowed violent clashes to reach the steps of the United States Capitol. The Bureau exists in a state of permanent tension. It attempts to enforce the laws of a free, democratic society using the inherently secretive tools of a shadow state. The FBI was built crisis by crisis, granted increasingly vast authority in exchange for national security. It is a necessary shield against a chaotic world, but one forged with so much power that the public must constantly watch the watchman.